Peace and blessings. This is Mr. Westbrooks, educator, astronumerologist, and co-host of Unread Book Review with Nick and Rue. Let me put y'all up on this new ebook series that's here to educate our people of all ages, especially the youth, about our collective power, both historically, presently, and beyond. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, is unique in that it takes the traditional e-reading experience and infuses it with audio recordings, revolutionary songs, and revolutionary music videos. Some of the topics include stories about Black entrepreneurs, stories about Black women who have shaped our world, and stories of Black innovators who've impacted the field of STEAM, plus much more. If you want to know more about this series and what it has to offer, check out our unread episode featuring Knowledge Born Allah, who was also the founder and host of Do the Knowledge Radio. After the interview, go log on to dotheknowledgeradio.com so you can get your copy of Voices of the Diaspora so that you, your family, your community, and your world can be inspired by the stories of visionaries shaping our future and honoring our past. Thank you in advance for your support and continue striving to be the best version of yourself. Peace.
All right, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Do Not Radio, place where Knowledge Born is your host, Knowledge Born Allah. Do not adjust your viewing device. This is really happening. Our brother is really here with us in the building today. A soldier and a warrior for the Most High, a redeeming lyrical voice, a mind of reason, a brother, a father, a husband, and a righteous example of a Black man in America living his best life. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, the one, the only, the deputy of Harlem himself, Ghetto, in the building. Peace and blessings, my brother. How you feeling?
Man, that introduction is enough for me, man. I'm feeling well though, man. Thanks for asking. You know, peace and blessings to the people. You know what I'm saying? Praise the Creator. It's great to be here.
I thank you for being here. I thank you for allowing yourself to be redeemed and shedding that light with others so they can find a redemptive path in their struggle. So,
Wow.
many people know you from the music world. So many years of slashing up, burning up mics and stages and doing things like that. But I want to kind of tap into the man. You know, I want to tap into the man. I want to tap in the mind of the man and, you know, your journey in ascension, so to speak.
Gotcha.
For you reintegrating back home in that pathway of self-discovery while you was away, what did that journey look like for you, finding yourself and reconnecting with God on that path?
I mean, a lot of it, you know, my journey was like a journey of like memory, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I always, you know, once I got boggled down by, you know, the world, you know, the world and things of this world, you know, I always had to remember who I was, you know what I'm saying? Like I always had to, you know, like it was always a landmark that I always looked for, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of what I, you know, went through, I always brought myself back to when it wasn't that way, or when, you know, when I didn't need that, or I didn't need that, you know what I mean? So, you know, my journey was just trying to get back to myself, you know what I mean? That was what I was always trying to, you know, get back to, you know what I mean? And I know the Creator, you know, first of all, he put that in my spirit. You know what I mean? And that was what my whole journey, consisted of. Just coming back to a center. You know what I'm saying? Like centering up. You know what I'm saying? Back to who I was. So that was what I was that's what I am. Uh, that's basically my mission, my driving force is just staying, just staying, in that authentic, genuine, light. You know what I'm saying?
So what did and what does forgiveness look like for you within self and then uh, circumstance?
I mean, I'm learning that forgiveness is it's something that you gotta, it's really for you. You know what I'm saying? Too, for when you forgive, you know what I mean? But when you're forgiven, you know what I mean, it's also, obviously for you, I mean, it's also, obviously a burden lifted, subjectively, you know what I mean? But it's also like, it's just a so many times you feel kind of just like you're in a loop. You know what I'm saying? Like some type of time loop, or just like nothing. Like a Groundhog Day kind of thing where everything is never nothing ever changes. So forgiveness for me is kind of you know it's kind of like a step up on the rung on the ladder. Like, you know what I mean? You're able to progress and begin to move. You know what I mean? So that's what it's been like for me.
That's right. That's real. I see your queen in the building. You know, your better half. Uh, what's the Martin version of that story right there? You know, one of my favorite episodes of Martin is when they tell the story of how they met, and he tell his version, she tell her version, and then we kind of see at the end how it happened. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
you know,
shout to
how
my
you
baby if you're watching. I love you. I know she might be watching. I don't know if you can see her or not, but yeah, man. She oh, I love you, I love you. I see what you're saying, baby. I love you, wife. That's a fact. But yeah, so we met a while. We met before my incarceration, really briefly. We were in the same areas, out in PA. You know what I mean? She was one of the young ladies that was in attendance to at one of the plate the shows I was in one time as well. And you know and I admired her then. You know what I mean? Which, so I never knew that, we never knew that we were gonna, be together. You know what I'm saying? It was just one of the things where I saw her, and when we met years later, formally, you know what I mean? We talked about it. Yeah, remember that night we were there, and I walked by and I had this on and that, and I was like, yeah, I do remember that. And then, and then so we just started, we started talking from there, and then things just we just locked in after a while, and now that's now we're Mr. and Mrs. Coleman. You know what I'm saying? Crazy
I love it.
creative.
I love it. I love seeing y'all win together. You understand what I'm saying? I love seeing y'all win together. That's a beautiful thing to witness. You know, nowadays they have this whole personage where, you know, uh, it's a gender war. So we at each other's throats via this virtual situation. You see what I'm saying? So I love to see folks who have that love affair that y'all have. You know what I'm saying? It be oozing from y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful to still see. especially in this day and time.
Right. I appreciate it, man. Definitely, man. You know, we just gotta remember that we just gotta be here for each other, man. That's all we could be. That's all we could do. You know what I mean? I mean,
So
it's not even. In a way, I don't mean to cut you off. It's not really even a male female thing, really. It's just kind of just a person to person thing. You know what I mean?
right.
You know what I mean? You treat others as you want to be treated, male, female, and then I think we'll all be better off that way, man. But yeah,
Now you out working with the young people. Working with the young people. For
yeah.
those who are listening and for those who will listen, tell them about that, and also what are we missing as the older generation with the youth? What are they saying? Like, how can we bridge the gap in between them? You know, the difference between uh, the things that are happening and that they're facing is somebody who there for them. So, what are the young people saying? And tell them how you work with the youth. What do you?
I think I work with the youth, and what I notice is that we don't give them like enough credit. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're not as shallow or as you know I want to say malleable or impressionable. You know what I mean? As we think, like they actually are out here thinking. Like these young people are focused. Like, believe it or not, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't, you know, to like they're sharp. You know what I'm saying? And we just have to, in my opinion, we just have to kind of cultivate them. You know what I mean? However, whatever they're into, just kind of, enforce it, and because like you can only to me you can only help the youth if they see that you've been through something that they can relate to. Like, it's nothing you can really tell them, just to be telling them. You know what I'm saying? You have to they gotta respect it. Like, okay, well, he should know. You know what I mean? So if you don't have anything, to relate to them with, or like, just keep it pushing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, that's what I see. You know what I mean?
Agree wholeheartedly. They love authenticity and truth. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
and,
that's
and they open for correction. They're open for it, but they
yeah,
have to see it. You know
yeah.
what I
They
mean?
gotta
They have to see it.
right, right, right. You
So
can't
if we
be.
could go back in the time machine real quick, man. Everything that came out in '95 turns 30 this year. You know what I'm saying? So we already had Infamous Mob. We already had Me Against the World turn 30. We set the year off with The Shining turning 30. So uh,
Uh,
30 years, right? 30 years. Uh, your assessment of some of the things in the events that made 95. If you had a list and you had a couple of things on it, what was definitive for G Dep in 95?
Man, I would have to say like the tunnel. You know, like, yeah,
Woo!
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, that was
Yeah.
what my 9-5 was looking like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a
Right.
tunnel head. Like, that's when it was just really at its prime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just that the tunnel didn't make it to 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace.
Right.
Rest in peace to the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? But that was what kind of defined 9-5 for me. Though that whole vein of hip hop, and just everything was like you said, Pac was he was in his
Mm.
at his prime, is, you know what I mean, his peak. I
Right.
seen him I seen him in the tunnel that year. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it was that's what it was, man. Hip hop was this thing where, you know, it kind of meshed. That was the point to me where it like kind of like blended in with the canvas of the street. Like, you know what I mean? It started really, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was already, you already had, you know, street rap in, you know, in hip hop, but like, you know, it was like bigger than life at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, pardon the pun, you had Big Out. Yeah, just drop Who Shot You. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like hip hop was just like larger than life. Like you could walk by hip hop. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, that whole era.
Doo-wop and Clue was 95 for me.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Clue 95, Doo-wop 95. That was everything. And the first Bad Boys film. You know, the Bad Boys film, the show, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of space where it was bugged out. You know what I'm saying? Like the soundtracks was crazy. That was nuts. You see what I'm saying? The second time we heard Red and Meth together, you know, on How High, like they had two versions of the joint. So it was just crazy to be at an epicenter where we thought hip hop would never change. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop, we thought we would have this forever. This version that we knew, that we loved, that was an attractor to us. You know, we thought that would be forever. So
yeah,
hip hop turns 52, 53, something like that. Whatever the story is, you see what I'm saying? So what's your assessment of hip hop culture in its 50s now?
Man, I mean, it's hard to really even believe that, man. Because, you know, I mean, I mean, I guess, you know, we can look at our ages and I could look at my age and really be like, wow, yeah, I guess so. Because I was a young guy when I first got introduced to it. So, you know, I mean, I think it's still a young art form though, man. Like, you know, you got art forms that have been around for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? You know, that, you know, I wouldn't say thousands, you know what I'm saying? You got, you know, just instrumental art forms that been around, you know what I mean? You know, I think this is just the start of you know, I think the fact that that technology, you know, permits, you know, the way, you know, we can make music today. Hip hop was just bound to happen, you know what I mean? And it's just only gonna, you know, progress.
So where you see the next 50 years? That's always
Man,
a question I ask. The next 50 years of hip hop, where would you like to see hip hop go in the next 50 years?
man, I mean, I think I would like to see it go, you know, just grow as big as it, you know, just grow as much as it can grow. Just be, you know, whatever is meant to be. You know what I mean? You know, just like we want to be, you know, our best selves. I just hope hip hop becomes its best self. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that means. You know, I can't sit here and tell you know. I think, you know, the sounds are just gonna be out of this world and different, you know, variations of things. But, you know, whatever hip hop is to become, you know, I pray, you know, and you know that's what it becomes. You know what I'm saying? Full evolution.
So right. So writing for you now versus writing then. Your message, your stories, because you've always been an ill storyteller. You understand what I'm saying? For me, anyway. I don't, you know, there's a few people to do it, but you in the ranking system. of one of the illest storytellers. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to look tough, but my sneakers were scuffed. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, I see it. Like if you pull us into a world with the stories. It's not just, like this happened. Like, nah, we in the neighborhood, we walking with you. You understand what I'm saying? So your set ability to be able to craft a story and tell it vividly, like we right there, but we ain't got to duck because of the shots. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so we, you know what I mean? Like we can hear the sirens, but we ain't got to run, but we're there. So that ability to paint pictures. So I'm just curious as to where your mind is with the stories being that you want to tell now versus then.
I mean, it's still I can only express what I see, you know what I mean, and what I've been through, you know what I mean? So but nowadays I'm just, I'm trying to, just touch on the same subject, but same subject matter, or the same experience, but or maybe new experiences, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely, trying to like write new stuff, new experiences, new, just vibes, you know what I'm saying? But essentially it's just still, you know, coming from what I've seen, coming from my lens, you know what I'm saying? And I'm, in these days I'm just trying to, just keep it a little, I'm being more expressive, but I'm also trying to be expressive in a way. I'm actually attempting to express myself in more of a clean way as far as the verbiage, like, you know what I'm saying? I that's just a mission, a challenge for me that, I try not to, be so vulgar. You can say the same thing without being vulgar, you know what I mean? So that's just something that I do, you know what I'm saying? So, that's probably where I vary from when I was younger, you know what I mean? You my favorite MC, baby. Hustle Bunny, what up?
And that's it. I'm telling you, that's love right there. That's love.
That's the baby
Word
right
up.
there.
So getting back in the booth and getting on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like you waiting backstage to get on stage. The first time since your resurgence. You know what I'm saying? What was that like for you? And what's it like now? And from a fun perspective, like the hunger is still here. I still hear the hunger. See what I'm saying? But I hear more of the creativity from like a fun space. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm bugging out. You understand what I'm saying? The realness is there, the stories is there, the lyrics is there, but it don't feel forced. They feel like it's flowing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's definitely where it's at right now. You know what I mean? I'm definitely feeling, I enjoy, I understand that now that, that I'm much clearer, you know what I'm saying? Like I know that, when we perform or express ourselves, it should come from a place of love, you know what I'm saying? It should, I mean, whatever you have on your heart, that's what you have on your heart. If you have to express that, then, so be it. But I'm saying, like, I think, like, you ever heard the song I sing because I'm happy?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's, that's the reason, you know, we should be passing on, what I'm saying, good vibes, you know what I mean? So, and I feel that now, like, even if it's something that's on your heart, you know what I mean? If you can, if you expressing it genuinely, then it is what it is. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at now. Like, I know it seems, fun because that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm glad to be home.
Right.
That's what I'm going through. I'm going through this elation. Yo, let's get it. You know what I mean? I'm motivated. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? So that, and I understand that, you can have fun with this music. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that, you know, you have to be, you know, so, you know, stringent about all, you know, all the time, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's, you know, I'm just a man, you heard? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, this, you know, it's all I could do. You know what I mean?
That's it. Biggest life lesson you learned from trial, tribulation, from life, from your path. Biggest life lesson you learned.
Man, I mean, I tell people all the time, man, the biggest life lesson I think I've learned is to, you know, is to be, you know, it's hard. I think, well, I could say just to be an individual. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, and it's hard to, it's not, you know, it's not easy to do that either. It's like, you know, you say, you know, is to say it is like, okay, yeah, you know, be an individual, you know, but, you know, us as, you know, humans are like, in by nature, you know, we kind of social creatures. Like, you know what I mean? We you know, we enjoy interaction. We, you know, we want to be kind of accepted. You know what I mean? But at the same, in the same, you know, in the same breath, like, you know, that's sometimes that's the sacrifice you know, you got to make, you
Right.
know, in order to, you know, in order to be who you need to be. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
that's what I've learned. I've learned that, you know, just, you know, sometimes, you know, you gotta kind of just be you. You know what I mean? And, you know, everything else will follow just for a moment. You know what I mean? You might have to fall back from things just to, you know, get some perspective. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think, you know, you'll be better off in the long run for it. You know what I mean? So that's what I've learned.
So this album that you have out now, you know, tell the people about this album, and if it was a takeaway that you wanted to express, that you want people to get from this version of G Dep, you know, as the artist, what would it be?
Right. Well, I mean, you know, this album is called Less Is Never Losses. You know what I mean? Like you said, man, it's a, you know, it's a feel good. You know, you could tell I'm in a, you know, a place of enjoyment. You know what I mean? You know, but at the end of the day, it wasn't. You know, it still was a. You know, I had a message that I wanted people to, you know, that I was trying to relay. You know, just by the name of the album, Less Is Never Losses. You
Right.
know, it's, you know, I had to at least put my experience, you know, just in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So Lessons Never Lost is a serious, you know, message, and it's just something for me that I've been, you know, I've learned. You know what I mean? That, you know, anything that you learn, you know, it's not a loss. You know what I mean? You know,
Right.
it's a lesson. You know what I mean? So, you know, any losses that you incur, you know what I mean, is they should all be lessons, and that's been you know, just a big thing, a big part of my life, you know.
That's real.
Word.
Yeah. You know, they need to run it up, man. They need to run it up. They need to get the real. You see what I'm saying? And
Run that up, man. Run that
you
up.
need to, yeah,
Lessons
you
never lost.
need to bottle that up and pass it out to some of the MCs, man. You see what I'm saying? So some cats is still rhyming like it's 95. You know what I mean? Like and they somebody pop now, like chill pop. You know what I'm saying? Like be easy pop. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
we want to see we
We
want to see
don't.
the evolution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, you know, yeah, you know, it's hard though, you know, because you know, you always know, you know, you always convert to what you know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, and if you really take the time and really you know, live your life and kind of like, you know, deal with the things you have in your life, you can evolve, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody out there is, is listening, I think that's one of the keys to evolution. You know what I mean? Taking the accountability, responsibility, or just the initiative to resolve whatever you have going on, so you can, grow and progress. You know what I mean? The mind can only withstand so many things. You know what I mean? You got to clear it and free the heart, free the soul, right, in order to, move on. And then you'll see that pen will get iller. That, you know what I mean? Everything, thing will progress because you have, a different, you got some space. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah.
What's something that you would say to your younger self?
Praise the Creator. You said, say to my what?
Your younger self, while you was going through it, at the height of you going through what you was going through internally.
I don't know, man. That's a good question, man. I would just, I would tell myself, of course, to be myself. You know what I mean? I would tell myself not to forget myself. You know what I mean? Or
that's what it is, man.
Like, I think, because like we were talking earlier, I think we all have a point where we remember, when we were okay. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were right. Like, you know what I mean? So, I would try to just remind myself, that's who you are. You know what I mean? And just, try to just go from there. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's definitely real. So, advice to young creatives out here looking at the industry, looking at the business, from this perspective. What's some tips of the trade that you would lace them up with in regards to, writing that vision and making it plain and wanting to make their way in the world in regards to the hip hop industry or the music industry, period?
Oh man, I mean, I would just say learn, man. Learn as much as you can, man. It's the information is out there. You know what I mean? All you have to do is look for it. Whatever that's what I've learned since I've been home. That Google, that thing is it's a blessing to us, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ask it all kinds of, is how long is General Mills been out? Like, you know what I mean? Like you could ask right. You could ask it literally anything. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of a specific example, but so I could tell anybody that's trying to get in the industry, just learn about it, man. You know what I mean? You can ask ChatGPT what you need to know, and then look up exactly what it is that specifically. You know what I'm saying? Because because I can't say just learn. You know what I mean? Because most people be like, all right, learn what? You know what I'm saying? So right. Right. So yeah, so I mean, like I can tell you, or you can just look it up on, ask ChatGPT what the music industry consists of. You know what I'm saying? But just know that the industry now is just so compartmentalized. Like you can, it's all broken down now. Like you can go to any agency in online that all of these subdivisions of a record label are all online. They all do, these services are all available, separately now. You know what I mean? So you can just find everything you need: promotion, marketing, social media, the visuals, everything that music entails. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of find it on the internet. But I think first and foremost in my opinion, I'm still a believer in having that heat, man. You gotta have the heat, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
First and foremost, make sure your music is official, and then make sure your business is official. You know what I mean? And then just learn. And when I say make sure your business is official, I mean just make sure you able to speak to a lawyer, look at your contracts, and and the rest is at your fingertips. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. That's what it is. So, what does G-Dep got up his sleeve that he can share with the people while you got our listening ear? You know what I'm saying? What we need to be on the lookout for from G-Dep.
Man, yo, we working, man. I ain't gonna lie, we working out here, man. Praise the Creator, man. We got the book. You know what I'm saying? Coming out real soon, called the Memoirs of a Credible Messenger. You know what I mean? The Trevell G-Dep Coleman story. We got another project coming out in a few weeks called Stay Ready. It's a collab with myself and a young brother named Shizzy Bando. You know what I mean? That was that been doing a lot of stuff out here. In the young community. He's younger, so he's in a different generation of the music now. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's wonderful. What he's doing. You know what I mean? And we collabed. He got an album coming out, a 10 song. EP. At this point, it ain't really an EP. It's a mini album. You know what I mean? We got another album coming out called Off the Count. That's kind of just chronicalizing the whole, experience of me being locked up and, going through the system and coming, going up north and going through what I went through, up there, coming out, and all of that. You know what I mean? So that'll be out real soon. That's called Off the Count. You know what I mean? And we those three projects are what we have right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Anything else, that's in the work. It's in the making. We got a documentary, a movie we working on. So we just staying busy.
Yes. Can't nobody tell your story like you tell your story. They're gonna tell it with some cut. They're gonna be like, yeah, I was with son in the tunnel in 9-5. Like, yeah, all right. You understand what I'm saying? Like all of this revisionism, you see what I'm saying? Like you was where, with who, when? All right.
Right. Yeah, you already know. But yeah, we gonna definitely sit down and make something. We've been putting ideas together, the script together, and thanks for reminding me too. I gotta do some work on that that I had done already, as far as the movie. So thanks for reminding me about that.
Excited to see it all. Excited for your success. Glad that you're home and that you are integrating righteously in the society. You got a message for the people. Your story is important. There's so many people that can learn a lesson from your life at their life. You know what I'm saying? So what I asked you about your younger self, there's your younger self running around. They're still children of the ghetto running around carrying a burden, and they don't know where to place it. You know what I'm saying? They don't know where to place it. So a voice of reason, a voice of reform, a voice of redemption, a voice of love. You know what I'm saying? An authentic one, like yourself. It means a lot to people you may never even meet. You understand what I'm saying? You might help change somebody's life that you may never ever even meet. So it's a beautiful opportunity to see you here and to see you home and to see you right with God.
Greater willing. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, man, all praises due to the Creator, man. It's a wonderful thing, man.
So final remarks, man. Shout outs, remarks, where people can find you. You got to do the social media stuff and all that. You understand what I'm saying?
You already know. I mean, I just want to first of all thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? This is a wonderful platform. You know what I mean? I wish, you know, I hope, you know, much success to you in with the show. You know what I mean? Whatever you need from me, man, just let me know, man. I want to shout everybody out. You know, all the people's whole black market. You know what I'm saying? My wife. You know what I'm saying? My kids, my sons. I'm proud of you too, baby. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, Imani. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Eric Von Billington, Shireen Anderson. You know, the list goes on, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole black market. You know, check me out at GDEP official on all social media platforms. You know, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram is all at GDEP official. You know what I mean? Except for Facebook, you know, Facebook is, you know, Trevell GDEP Coleman. You know, it is what it is, man. You know, I'll be glad to speak. I mean, glad to speak to you, man. Hope I see you there. You heard?
Word is fun. Word is fun. So honest to you and wifey, man. Y'all keep doing them foodie missions y'all doing. Whatever y'all doing, I love to see y'all doing it. You understand what I'm saying? In the car with the jams, looking for the food, whatever the case is. Like it's love to see the real life. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the guys who bought the albums for the inserts to see who the artist thanked. You understand what I'm saying? Like I would work my way back to who was on the album and all that and that part, but I really went to see who the artist thanked. That was my, you know, snapshot into their mind. You know what I mean? So it's like I was interested in that. So anything I could see that's behind the scenes, I'm there for all of that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm there for all of that. So the personal space. So thank you for your time. Love and honor to you and your family. To the deputy dynasty, you understand what I'm saying? You know, in the Coleman future, you understand? So
appreciate you, hell yeah. Thank you.
Word. It's all the way up from here. So enjoy your day, man.
Huh?
I said it's all the way up from here. So enjoy your day, man. Peace to you, peace to your family, and you know, I'll love to have you back, man.
Likewise, man. Anytime, just holler at me, all right?
All right, word, peace.
All right, peace.
So we up out of here, y'all. Catch y'all later on. We'll be on later on with another Harlem mastermind. Jay Mills will be in the building with his fiance Dana, so it's gonna be ill, man. Shout out to the one and only Harlem legend, GDEP, man. Peace.
Alright, baby, the Punchline Academy basement cypher is happening right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a special treat for y'all. Hit the comment section right now. Shut the vibe, Vinny Idol, shut the guys. Shy Boogie with the hoodie. We got Harlem's own, the deputy. GDEP, pull up to the mic. MC to the mic, baby, let's do it.
Yo, what I write is hardest trying to spar with arthritis. Spit a 16 for the queen, I was knighted, invited to the Whitest House, I was delighted. The crowd got excited like my rhymes would cure the virus. Even King Leonidas couldn't fight it. 300 MCs wanted to do what I did. Stick a fork in them like the trident of Poseidon. You're done, your story's one-sided cause you lying. I ain't interested, shorty's interested. I guess I send the message cause I'm getting friend requested. Never been arrested for crossing an intersection. While you jaywalk, I let the pay talk, end the sentence. You just a chatterbox, my life's a paradox. Sir Lancelot, who made it out of Camelot. Sweet, now I'm on my feet like a pair of socks. Not carrot top, but I rock a 24 karat watch. Watch the guys hypothesize, they don't know I'm not surprised, cause we all philosophize. Yo, a lot of times I'm spitting doctrine lines like Socrates, you should apologize for for not actualizing on them raps you was writing. That's a fact, you was lying about them cash and them diamonds. We ain't falling for that, like the statue of Biden. This ain't the Capitol riots, but we capitalizing. Just staking our claim, placing the flag in the spot at the top of the game to show them that we came. So unconquered, you're a monster, ball and chain. And since the hills have eyes, well let me draw the shades. Wait, it's slated that we would make this track. We've been through hell and made a pact that if we made it back, we make this track and show them haters our place in rap. We hard, brother, the hardcover, they paperback. You'll play the back, who riding the shotgun, providing them trust funds, them sliding in +1. What they got for us, baby, they sizing us up. They gon' need a bigger ruler, we giants amongst them. Yo, check it out, G-Dep official. G-Dep official all around the board, you heard? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, hit us up on Facebook. Trevell G-Dep Coleman, you know what it is. You see the drip though, let's go. Infamous, what up? Big Shot, what up? Yeah.
Cannot go without this book, and let me explain why. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, takes you through countless and countless different blacks. From our scholars, our warriors, our great sisters, and even entrepreneurs. It speaks to the past, the present, and the future. There's even an action plan for us that are serious about businesses that we wanted to take on. Entrepreneurship is one of the first things that he speaks about. And if you're an avid reader, this is a 5-part series. So this is not only a great resource for ourselves, it's a great resource for us as parents. We can teach it and incorporate it into our lesson plans for our children.
Knowledge born. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.